Hey, welcome back to another episode of Pages, Picks, and Pans. Today we are looking at Laurel Canyon, released in 2002. So this film has a great cast. Christian Bale is the son of Frances McDormand. When they filmed this, she was in her mid-40s. This film deals with family. It deals with that kind of estrangement that happens when parents and children are not the same as far as politics and social mores and the kind of disconnect that happens. But it's also about romance and relationships on that end of the scale. His mother works in music production, record production. So you get that she's kind of lived that groupie lifestyle almost, hanging out with the bands for so long that you just sort of absorb that energy. And he, on the other hand, is a medical student, and he's back home so that he can intern. And that's a very different mindset. There's a lot to this film that's ambiguous. There's a lot of gray area that they just leave gray, and I suspect in a large part that is due to the director. I'm going to read it because I can't remember how to pronounce this name, but Lisa Chodolenko. So I don't think I've seen anything else by that director. I know she's also an author, but I think that's probably the big difference. This otherwise feels a little bit like an Altman film, but not quite. Like there's some sweepingness to the storyline that I find it's very different from the pacing of a very typical Hollywood film. This is slower, it's relationship based, it's very sensual, and not just the sex, of which there is plenty in this film, but just the senses being stimulated throughout. There's a lot going on in the background around these characters. You get a really good sense of the worlds they each live in, and the pressures on each of them. Ultimately, this is about the mother-son relationship, but there's so much more going on, and I loved this film when it first came out, or when I first saw it, and I still love it. Definitely gets a pick. I'm probably going to give it like 4. Yeah, 4 stars. It definitely earns that. It's one of those things that I just, yeah, you've got to be in the right mood for it. It's a nice sipping tea or sipping wine kind of film. Ooh, or whiskey. They do drink whiskey sours in here, so that would be a good accompaniment. Anyway, that's a pick from me, and you've been watching Pages, Picks, and Pans, and I hope you'll join me again.